All right, and welcome back. We are episode 2, season 2 of Please Hold. So it's like two sisters. I guess you're my sister, right? No, I don't know.
Pretty sure. Gotta check.
Two sisters tackle the underappreciated world of CS. I am your host, Ashley,
And I'm Tiffany.
and welcome to Please Hold.
Oh,
Man.
hold on.
Okay. See,
We're gonna do it this time.
this time.
All right. So, tap, screen, like, subscribe. Go ahead, follow us on Instagram at pleasehold_podcast. We love y'all. We appreciate all the support through this journey that we're on here. So go ahead, tap the button.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Tiffany, because I would have just glossed right all over that. Yep, you got it.
You got it.
You're getting better this time. All right. So what are we talking about today? It's a hot topic.
It's a hot topic. It's steaming hot. It's a bag of broccoli out the microwave. I don't know where that came from.
I have no idea.
We are talking about what to do when you get Keith lead.
Ooh.
Sorry for y'all restaurants out here
Yeah.
tripping, but it's good because I think it shined a light on what's happening here in Atlanta because we've all experienced, and I heard Ray Daniels talking about how he don't go to black businesses, support black businesses because they be acting like that. And it's like, it to a certain degree, it's true. Sometimes bad experiences are always going to stand out in your mind. The good experiences, unfortunately, they kind of just like, you were like, that's what I should be getting. But when you have a bad experience, you're going to tell everybody, you're going to feel it. There's a lot of emotion into like bad experiences from, whatever that you got from the restaurant. So, but what do you do when you get Keith Lee? Like what should happen with these restaurants? Well, actually, do you want to like kind of explain just in case anybody was under a rock?
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you were under a rock, you were under a deep one. Okay. Because Keith Lee came to Atlanta a couple of weeks ago, maybe almost now, maybe a month ago, but it's still having effects on the Atlanta restaurant industry. And this was really close to the time to where restaurants were getting their Michelin stars too.
Oh, yes.
And so it was just like everybody was on edge. He came unannounced. He came in and he visited a couple of restaurants. I think he visited Old Lady Gang.
The real Milk and Honey.
Real Milk and Honey, not Milk and Honey, but the real Milk and Honey. Toast on Lennox. Did he go to Breakfast at Barney's? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
I don't want to say.
But he went to like some other restaurants like outside of the perimeter.
Yeah. And Honey, okay, look, they got flamed. Right. But he gave really good, honest feedback. And to be honest with you, I had never heard of Keith Lee.
Yeah.
I had never heard of him until
I must have been on that rock too because I
didn't
know who he was until
I had never. I mean, but I'm not on TikTok a lot. I think he's more his base is TikTok heavy. But he came in, he did his reviews on the food, on the service, and it was the lack of service here in Atlanta in the restaurant industry that really, really stuck out. And for us, Atlantanians, whatever you Italians that want to, it for us, we were like, yeah, no, he's right. He's right. He is absolutely right because the service around here in the restaurant industry is just piss poor. And let me back up here. It is not everywhere. And this is not for all Black owned restaurants either. But for the restaurants that he did, visit, yeah, like there were things that stood out to him and he called it out. And these are the things that need to be called out. They need to be recognized. They need to be, acknowledged, be like, hey, that's not how you should treat. And no matter who I am, who Keith Lee is, who you are, what kind of status I have or I don't have, like the service should be the same across the board.
Right. Because you're not going to have, B-list, A-list celebrities coming into your restaurant, to your establishment every single day.
Right.
You are dependent on, for regular people to come into your restaurant and come back to your restaurant.
Yep.
The thing is, like I've always said, returning customers. And so like, I know Toast on Lennox, like, It's a great place. I've eaten there one time. I was able to get in one time
Yeah.
after waiting for 2 hours, went to Target, did a little shopping, came back, still waiting, like, and I do think that's unfair. If I'm going somewhere for breakfast or brunch, I would like to have my breakfast or brunch at a, like, brunch time,
Reasonable time.
not 4 o'clock or like waiting for 2 hours, or I got to get there at 7:30 in the morning, wait in line so that I can get a seat. Like, I don't, and I feel like that really only happens with Black restaurants.
Mhm.
I don't go to, you know, white owned restaurants and be like, they're like, oh no, it's going to be 2.5 hours. Like, no,
Yeah.
they're like, oh yeah, take your name down, be about 15-20 minute wait. That's reasonable.
Right.
Okay, understand. Got to clear out some tables. You need to do whatever you need to do. Let some people finish. But it's not until like recently, like these boutique-ish restaurants, Black owned restaurants are starting to be like 2 hour wait. Like,
No,
that's
I'm not
ridiculous.
I'm not waiting 2 hours. Tops, I'm waiting 45 minutes.
Yeah.
45 minutes. If it goes, unless I'm like, I'm dying to get in there because I'm just like, oh my God, them shrimp and grits is like banging. Like, I know I need to have that. Like, no, I'm sorry. I'm not waiting an hour. It's
Yeah.
just not, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm not waiting an hour and 30 minutes. I'm not waiting 2 hours. I think that if you are telling your customers to wait 2 hours to come into your restaurant to be seated and be served, you need to take a step back and be like, what are we doing wrong?
Yeah. One is, look at the back of the house. Are they not moving and cooking food fast enough, to get it out to your customers to eat? Like,
Mhm.
is your staff not moving fast enough to get customers their food?
Right.
Like, what's happening? Like, there's a lot of things internally that has to be going wrong in order for you not to be able to run your restaurant and to keep people going. It can, consistently rolling through your doors and getting them out. Like, sometimes you have to say, like, hey, there's an hour and a half time limit at your table. Like, we're gonna do everything we have to in order to make sure that you get your service, you get your food, you have a
Mhm.
good time, and you leave.
Right.
Like, and that's the point of having, like, making sure all of that is happening all at the same time in your restaurant.
Yeah. I mean, back in the day, I used to work at Twist. Shout out to Twist, and shout out to everybody that I used to work with at Twist. That was if you don't remember Twist, I'm sorry for you. You missed one of the best, the best restaurant times in Atlanta, between all of the Here to Serve restaurants, Tom Catherall. Like, it was just a time. It was like one of those things in Atlanta, like
Time to be
a
alive.
time to be alive. But it sadly ended. But it we Twist was busy. Monday through Sunday. There was not a day that Twist was not popping, especially on the weekends. Some little housewives would roll up. They would go real slow and driving in front of Twist. Football players, basketball players, everybody would come in there. But we didn't tops 45-minute wait.
Yeah.
The patio would be packed during the summer. The restaurant, the bar area, even the little sushi bar in the back, like it was always busy. But I can never remember a time where we had an hour plus wait. Just we didn't, because the management that was running the establishment.
White.
Well, no, yeah, well, okay, to a point, yes. Then
Okay.
we had shout out to Mitch. He was one of my managers there at that time. Black Mitch, you know who you are. He was, black guy, but everybody else was, they're white. But look, it is a point. Like, I don't know if there's just a thing like they're on time to everything, but
I mean, I'm mostly on time thanks to my mom, like our mom, I'm on time, honey. That is a thing for me. Run on time. If you are on
apparently
time,
not,
you
though.
are late. Okay?
Yeah.
So
That's Tiffany's
be
motto.
early.
That's the motto.
Yes.
I'm
It's respectful of people's time. And I think that goes into like restaurants. Be
Mhm.
respectful of other people's time. I'm not on vacation in your restaurant.
Right.
I'm not here for a long time. Okay? I'm here for a short time.
I'm here for a good time.
A good time and a short time,
Right.
not a long time.
Not a long time.
I got
I'm not
things to
trying.
do.
I'm not trying to. This is not an extended stay.
Right.
Okay.
This is Sunday. That means TJ Maxx, Target runs
Yes.
after brunch. I
Ooh,
don't
get
got
me
time to
excited.
be here all day unless it's with a girl's day, and then we might have a lot of mimosas. Okay. We know. We know where that's
Anyways,
going.
okay. But yes, I get it. We're not here for a long time. We're here to have a good time and get in, get out, and for it to take me an hour plus to get to my table just to have a good time is crazy. But
Okay.
it has everything to go back to the either running the back of house, running the front of house, and making sure that everything is consistently going out on time and in the manner that it should be. Because it one thing slows up, it's a domino effect.
Mhm.
Another thing that Keith Lee had pointed out was just that, like, there with Black-owned businesses that he had seen was that, the hours of operation were wrong from what it said on the website. But then when he got to the establishment, they were open, but they were doing a deep cleaning, I think they were doing. And then, but
They
they
deep clean at 2:00 in the morning.
right. Like, not everybody's like, this is during the day when you
Right.
should your business should be open. But between that and then like delivery, like some had it, but they offered it, but it's like you couldn't pick up the food. It was a whole bunch of like different stuff. So I Cardi B had mentioned like she had did a whole sound bite on her experience in the city of Atlanta with restaurants. You want to share about that?
Oh yeah. So I believe like what she said was just like Atlanta businesses don't want to make money
Mm.
because they either don't do delivery, they don't do takeout, they don't have their hours of operation right. They're only open on Tuesday, sometimes Thursday, and a Friday and Saturday. Like,
Right.
like the hours of operation are weird. Like all types of things. Like, don't y'all want to make money? Like that's what she said. Like, y'all must not want to make money.
Hmm.
And literally that's how, like, of course, I have not owned a restaurant. So, I'm only going to speak from a customer aspect. But if I, want something to eat from this particular restaurant or want to, go here, like it should be very clear. It should be easy to go to your place.
Hmm.
It should be easy. Your place should be accessible. It should, and I should be able to have a good time or a good experience. And you guys not opening or not doing what you're saying you're doing, like, why? Why? Like, and also, actually, I'm not going to get into that.
What were you gonna say? Well, you gonna just go ahead and say it.
Why we got to have hookah at every restaurant?
I know
I
it.
just,
I know it.
I don't want smoke in my food all the time.
Well, first of
I
all,
don't want, maybe it's not a vibe every day. Like maybe me and the kids just want to have some food without, hookah.
or I'm sorry. I don't know if people are gonna get up in arms about this. I don't want a fucking DJ at every establishment that I go to.
Yeah.
Please keep the DJ at no to a minimum. I can't even hear. I can't hear my name being called. Who's
calling your name?
By the time for my table that I waited 4 hours
yeah.
for. What are you
That's
talking
true.
about? Yeah.
That's true.
Like, what do you I now got to send a text like, "Hey, your table's ready," but I didn't even hear my phone go off because I don't have any more eardrums because the DJ is at the highest decibel like possible. It's ridiculous. It's like I'm like, "What? Gotta have a DJ? You gotta have a green wall."
Oh,
If
you better have that grass wall.
Grass wall. Put the grass wall
If you
up.
want to succeed.
A
now.
neon sign. Put the neon sign up.
It must be a vibe.
It's got to be a vibe.
Bottomless mimosas, but it may not be bottomless because we may have ran out of champagne. And if you want some more, then you got to buy a bottle of champagne. But at the store, the bottle of champagne is $19.99. But here it's going to be about $250.
Right.
So, and we may not have it, or we may.
Yeah. And your carafe is only going to be it's going to be mostly juice. You're only getting one bottle of champagne to
and that might not even be orange juice. It might be some Sunny D.
Oh, that's disgusting. I wish somebody
I'm pretty
would.
sure somebody served me Sunny D as a mimosa one time. I was appalled. That is disrespectful to the mimosa. You might as well just give me champagne.
I'm speechless.
I know.
Yes.
Do better.
So can we We don't have to. Okay.
But I
My
think we
my
should get back
my
on track.
fellow my fellow restaurateurs or whatever you want to call them. We don't have to do a green wall. We don't have to do hookah. We do not have to have a DJ all the time. Leave the DJ for the club, the lounge. Okay. A restaurant is not a lounge.
Right.
A restaurant is not a club.
Atlanta has this, it's like this big, it's like a big club. Everything is a club here. Everything is a lounge. Everything is a vibe. Everything's a moment, an event. Like, why? Why?
Yeah. So can we leave that in like 2023? Can we
Yeah.
just go into
New Year's
2024?
resolution,
Yeah.
please.
I don't know. Anyways, we digress a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's really about the customer experience. And you know, to be honest with you, I sometimes have preconceived expectations of when I go into a Black owned business. And I hate to say that because I really, 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 really want our people, for their businesses to be successful.
Yeah.
And that's one of the main reasons why we've done this podcast, is because a lot of people think that, like, oh, well, Black owned businesses have really bad customer service, but it's just not the case.
No.
But there are some places, or experiences that I've had where it's just like, you could do better. You really could do better. And I think, like, there's just a lot of opportunity for us for business owners to be able to tackle that. And how do you receive that feedback, right?
Mhm.
That's the biggest thing, is that if somebody comes in and they say, like, the food was great, but your customer service is,
But they always get so defensive.
mm-hmm,
Like, you don't have to be defensive. You could just take it back. Like, like we were started out to say, like, what do you do when you get Keith lead? Even if it's a positive thing,
mm-hmm,
like you can be like, oh, wow, we need to expound upon that.
right,
Like, let's keep on doing it. Let's add that to what we're doing.
right,
Like, oh, our one server or hostess or somebody did this one thing and that made a big impression. Like, let's now add this as something that we're going to continue to do moving forward. Or if it's bad, taking that feedback or finding, is this something that's trending
mm-hmm,
with my
business,
employees or
right,
in my business? Are the bathrooms a hot mess?
right.
Are there no mirrors in the bathroom?
Oh,
I know. I went to a restaurant and there's like no mirrors in the bathroom. How do what? I mean, obviously I can use your restroom, but like, I'm a female. I want to, check and make sure I look good and presentable. I might
yep,
be on a date. I just maybe just care about myself,
right.
like I just want to see, like, how do you not have any restaurants, I mean, mirrors on your walls and have a note? I don't need no note.
It'll be here soon. Like, no, I need to hear now. Thank you.
Mirror coming soon. What? Okay, that's when, like, that, right, even that little experience, even though like nobody did anything to me, nothing was wrong with the food, it was just like, why still now this experience of like a note of where a mirror should have been has been like, I'm not coming back here because y'all can't even hang a mirror. You could have went to Walmart
Right.
and hung a mirror in a second.
Yeah.
Like, those kind of things, like, get it together.
I know. Yeah. No, it does. It wraps all back into the customer experience. And like you said, when you get that negative feedback, right, it does suck to get it. We've dealt in our past experience of having to call those people who have left really negative reviews and try to get those reviews turned around, when we were working for an app. And it's hard once somebody goes the length of posting a review, they're pretty set in it, right? It's going to take them a while. It's going to take a miracle, really, for them to be able to change their review.
Yeah.
And so you had to think about, okay, be empathetic to the customer, right? You want your customers to come back. And if they're giving you feedback live, listen to them,
Yep.
right? Because as much as whatever went wrong during their time or in their experience there, listening to them and not over talking them or not over apologizing, because some people really just don't want to hear an apology over and over again.
Right.
You should apologize, but it should be sincere. It should be genuine, and you should show empathy to the situation of that. Hey, I understand how that can be frustrating. And I'm so sorry to hear that that happened. And I'm so, like, I understand where you're coming from, being understanding. Those are the kind of things that, if I'm a customer and I have a really like poor experience, I don't just want you to tell me, sorry. I want you to understand where that gap was. And I also want you to tell me how you're going to fix it.
Yeah. How are you gonna fix it? Maybe for me, but even maybe for your future employee, your future customers
Mhm.
that are gonna come. Like, do you want them to continue to have the experience I did?
Right.
Like at least if I don't come back, at least I know that like you heard me and that like maybe you'll do better or you're willing to do better. And even taking the time out to respond to your customers. Not saying that you have to reply to every Yelp, Google review that you get, but saying again, is this a trend?
Hmm.
Is all the customers having a bad time with this particular server?
Right.
Are all the customers having this bad experience with this food that's coming out? Is the food coming out late or is it coming out cold? Or, the bartenders are getting the drinks wrong or, not right or something like, looking at those trends and, replying, oh, we're so sorry. Like you said, we're going to fix that, and those things. And Lisa know like, okay, we're taking accountability,
That's the biggest thing.
acknowledging what's happening and willing to fix it. Cause I remember one of the restaurants, I don't remember who it was, but I think she like went on the radio or something, um, or responded to Keith Lee's review and she like knocked him and was like saying like how he's autistic and she wasn't going to take a review from someone like him. Ma'am,
Well,
first of all,
that's where you
how
first
dare
messed up.
you? You're a terrible individual
Right.
for even saying anything like that. And two, like you just killed your business.
Yeah.
It's dead. Like people, there's a lot of autistic people, and that has nothing to do with someone leaving a review or rating your restaurant because of an experience they had.
Hmm.
Maybe he's the only one that spoke up having that experience, and lots of people have, come to your restaurant and had the same exact experience. It has nothing to do with somebody background or
Right.
well, being a part of them. Like that's ridiculous. So it's just like people do, a lot of these business owners kill their own restaurant or kill their own business because of things of they don't want to acknowledge what they're doing or what
Right.
they're not doing.
Yeah. No, I think it's you hit it on the head right there where it's like being accountable and taking the accountability. This is your business, right? It took the money to open it up. It took the time. It took it takes sometime like years to open up a business. It's not
Mhm.
something that's overnight. You've got to go and get, different uh, licenses and to be able to open up and you got to go, it's a whole process. And so for me for you to like fumble the bag and once you open your doors because you don't know how to one take feedback from your customers, these are the people that are keeping your lights on,
Mhm.
right? These are the individuals that are making sure that your employees are getting paid, at, whatever your pay schedule is. And so take it like, yes, it's easy to respond to a positive review. Great. Everyone loves positive reviews. But when I go and check reviews, I'm going to look at the negative ones,
Right.
right? I'm looking at like, what does this person say? And did you follow up with that individual?
Mhm.
And your response, it sucks to have to respond to a negative review, but that's a mandatory thing. You need to be accountable, go and say, man, I am so sorry you had that experience. If you can contact them, if there's any way to contact them, um, or if there's, say like, hey, the next time you come in, 10% off of your order,
Right.
right? Make it up to them or some kind of a gift to show that like, hey, we not only appreciate you, coming into our business, but also like giving us feedback where we could do better. I think that like that's just a normal thing of having any business at all, whatever it is in any industry. Google reviews, Yelp reviews, they're like, those are going to kill you, make you or break you.
Mhm.
And it's all about how you react to them and making sure that, like, hey, you know what? We don't like to hear it, but it's necessary. It's
Yeah.
a necessary evil.
Absolutely. I remember was recently one of a friend of mine she told me that she went into a restaurant, she was doing an event, coming there to put together an event, and the owner was there. It was of a bar lounge restaurant whatever, all of it, same thing here in Atlanta we experience. And it was a specific drink that they were having to make, and the owner was there, and she's like, the bartenders didn't know how to make the drink. They were
Mm.
just like reading everything, like, how do you mix this? It's like, it was simple, like tequila and orange juice, girl, put it together. We don't need to take a whole class to do it. Like, come on. And then the owner, she was like, oh, the girl asked her, like, where's this? Where's that? She's like, oh, I don't know. I don't work here. I just own it. Ma'am,
Oh,
what do you mean?
words
You
to never say as an owner.
you can't be what do you mean you don't work here? You're just the owner. Like, no, clearly you're not, because you have no idea what's going on with your business. And I was like, were they black? And she was like, yes, girl. I'm like, golly, come, just get it together.
Come on, do
Please,
better.
just
We
get
got to
it
do better.
together.
Got to do
Like,
better.
if you're not ready to open, if you're not ready to run your business from beginning to end and to be flawless, of course you're going to have mistakes, but like, you should know what's going on with your business. You should be able to step into almost any position at any
At
given
any
time
time. Right.
to keep it running.
Yep. Yep.
But you don't got to be a sous chef. You don't have to be a pastry chef. You don't got to do all this stuff. But like, you should be able to step in and cover and know, like, you know what? Let me get this.
I'm gonna bust some tables. I'm gonna run this
Exactly.
food out. I'm gonna seat somebody. Well, I gotta answer the phone. Boom. I gotta do this and make sure that I gotta fix this clock in issue, whatever the case may be. You as an owner, that means you own every part of that, operation.
Yeah, it's
You,
yours.
you owning it. That is what an owner is. It's not, oh well, I just sit back and I watch my staff do the rest. Well, you can do that if you operate a well-oiled machine, but you don't. So here we are.
Clearly.
Clearly. And so like taking accountability of that, hey, like we're short staffed today. I'm not going to let my employees suffer, because when my employees suffer, my business suffers
Mm-hmm.
and my customers suffer. And it's a domino effect. So if you see that food is coming out on like late, you better get your ass in the back of that kitchen and start running food. You are now a runner,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's tables that need to be cleaned. You are now a busboy. I am sorry. You're not you're everything that the restaurant or that business needs to be.
Absolutely.
And I like that is taking accountability of, hey, this is my business. I take it seriously. And if I don't, I have a real chance of losing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And I think every business owner, or restaurant or restaurants right now should say, every customer is Keith Lee,
Mm,
because every customer is important,
right.
who comes in here and should be treated and should be sat as soon as possible. This is how we run our business, and we're going to look at it like that. And I think that's probably like the feedback, or that what happens when you get Keith Lee. Treat everybody like they Keith Lee,
Right.
and make sure you're running a smooth operation in a business that people want to come back to and can be long-term customers of.
I 1000% agree. Everyone is Keith Lee. Well, how do you feel, Tiff?
Feel good.
Season 2. Mm-mm,
Mm-mm.
mm-mm. I'm excited. We have a lot of great episodes this season, so I'm very excited. I'm not gonna give any of them away because I'm not gonna like let the cat out of the bag, but we're gonna have some guests
I know.
this season, so I'm very excited. I'm just happy that we made it to season 2, and look at us.
We're
I
growing
got
up.
I got artwork on my wall now, y'all. As I'm coming up in the world. But yeah, I'm excited. This was a great episode. I think we touched on a lot of like key points, and we will see you next week
Yep.
for episode 3.
See y'all.
Bye.
Bye.